Hi, everybody. So we are here to talk about thesis statements and what they are and a really good structure for them and kind of why we care. So I know we've talked about this a little bit. You've probably heard this term, but let's talk about what a thesis statement actually is. It is a sentence in which you state your main argument or your claim and just a brief description about how you will prove it. So it's basically if you were to give an argument and you only had one sentence to show that you had a completely informed argument and understand what you were saying, it's this one, your thesis statement. So there are a lot of different types of thesis statements out in the world depending on what you want to do. But we are going to go over one very specific type. We're going to go over one that's called concession, thesis, reasons. So we will break all these down for you. But before we do that, I want to actually point out this word here, thesis. We just use the word thesis to talk about the entire sentence, and then suddenly we're using it to be here in the middle again. So that little thesis section in the middle is actually your claim where you're actually saying what you're trying to prove or what side of the argument you're on. That is part of the bigger thesis full sentence. So here's this example. Although surveillance cameras may be expensive, schools should install them because they increase safety, reduce vandalism, and keep both teachers and students accountable for their actions. So if I only had one sentence to say about surveillance cameras in school, it would be this. So let's get into breaking down that format that we just looked at to see where each piece is and what job it's doing. We're going to start with the concession. This is where you're recognizing the opposing side's most important counter-argument. So if you're pro-surveillance cameras, what is a reason somebody against them would say? And this is showing that you have thought about both sides of the issue, you are prepared for them, and that you are ready to respond to that side of the issue. In the example we just did, it's although surveillance cameras may be expensive. So this is one reason why people may not want to buy surveillance cameras for a school, because they do cost a lot of money that maybe a school might want to spend on for something else. Once you have that concession where you're conceding and saying, yeah, okay, you have a point, then you're going to come back to your thesis or your claim, where it's a super, super simple statement of your point. Schools should install them. That is my position on this topic. Schools should have them. Notice this is really, really short, to the point. This is what we need to do. I'm not dragging it out. This is, if somebody asks me, should schools install them? Yes, they should. That's it. Finally, we get to preview your reasons that support your argument. And this would be, if you're writing an essay, the reasons you'd be adding in your body paragraphs. If you're not writing an essay and you're using this in a debate, it could be the reasons that you would bring up in a debate to support yourself. So we have three reasons here. They increase safety, reduce vandalism, and keep both teachers and students accountable for their actions. So again, I would probably go more in depth into these in the body of my essay, or come back to these in a debate topic. So just for fun, because we really like color coding and it really helps the different pieces pop, we have them color coded down here for what is our concession, showing right at the beginning that yes, the other side has a point, but I still believe this because ABC, these reasons, which in turn actually shows that yes, I'm thinking about the whole thing, but you leave your reader or your listener with why your side is right and leaves that last impression with them, which is a really strong thing. All right, let's quickly look at a few more examples just so we can get a sense of this. Still a color-coded example. While it's true that the person you are inside is what's most important, realizing that this is why maybe we don't need to worry about what we look like, or we shouldn't worry about it. Thesis claim, you should take care of your appearance. About why, so this could be somebody asking, well, should we really focus on the outside and really be concerned about that, and so on. Moving on to the reasons, it'll increase your confidence, it shows respect for others, and it might give you opportunities you might not otherwise have. So again, we are very clear, like, I'm not entirely sure what the two sides of the issue are or what the topic is from the concession. I get a sense of it, but it's very clear in the thesis. So between the two, the topic is very clear to me as the audience. All right, example 2. Scanning over this, it's about locally grown food and whether or not we should try to do this. Concession, despite the fact that buying locally grown food can be inconvenient, we should make every effort to eat local because it's better for our health, supports our local community, and it benefits the environment. Okay, here is your turn to absolutely decide which one is which without me color coding it here. Even though serious behavior problems need serious consequences, schools should not suspend students. This practice creates academic problems. It leads to further disciplinary issues, and to some students, it can feel more like a reward than a punishment. I'm going to give you a quick hint. There is something different about this thesis statement than before. Can you find it? All right, so again, the idea of these thesis statements is that you do get to preview all parts of your argument that you are going to present in an essay or in a debate or anything like that, so that people know what to prepare for. If you disagree with somebody on their thesis, you can see what their reasons are and think about how you might respond to them with a rebuttal and so on. But it lays out everything absolutely clearly so people know exactly what your purpose is in your argument.